Hello, good morning and welcome to the news at 7. I am David Wakwasele. Anambra State Government continues to receive commendations on sustaining good governance. INEC commences distribution of electoral materials ahead of March 9 elections. Popular kidnap suspect, Ivan's trial stalled over legal fees. Jailed former South Korean President Yong Bang released from prison. The Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Nkemokeke, has called on the Anambra to vote APGA candidates all through during this Saturday's State House of Assembly elections as a way of complementing the good works of Governor Obiano-led administration in the state. Dr. Okeke made the call during a meeting with civil servants at Jerome Udoji Secretariat and at Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, Oka, for the executives of the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA at 326 wards in the state. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was there and now reports.
The Deputy Governor reminded the people the need to retain APGA relevance in the state, as according to him, the party has proven its mettle and deserves unalloyed support of the state's residents. Dr. Okeke made it clear that the Saturday election remains the most important for the state government for continuity in the distribution of democracy dividends in the state, and called on the APGA ward executives and the civil servants in the state to mobilize support for the party's landslide victory in the election.
So do it for yourselves. What you want is good governance. What if you're not talking? If you're not talking, good governance. Somebody that pays you your salary as a when due. Somebody that pays you your leave allowance. Somebody that pays you your pension when you retire. Somebody that pays you your gratuity. Somebody that knows that sometimes the secretariat needs to be painted. That the environment needs to be kept in order. What about you? What about governance? Peace and harmony. That is what we've seen in Anambra. Actually, new rechupe of street lights everywhere. Street lights everywhere. Nibai. But we all want to leave a legacy. A legacy. I want to leave a legacy as deputy governor. 18 po up that say, hey, deputy governor no work. Other man off. Ile put na governor choro hogosia after the trial. What about
Speaking earlier, the national chairman of APGA, Chief Victor Oye, who recalled the condition of the state in the hands of other parties before the emergence of APGA, urged in the Anambra not to allow the reincarnation of such regime. The state chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Jerry Nnobia, commended the workers' friendliness of the Governor Obiano government and promised on behalf of the workers in the state to massively support APGA in the State House of Assembly election coming up on Saturday, the 9th of this month, for continuity.
On Saturday, 9th of March 2019, Kaputa Libre. But all the line you put in Puta, Kaito Votua, na Apoga House members. Kawe Wake, Iwete Lenine, who believe the governor today. So they never be.
From Jerome Udoji Secretariat in Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
Governor Willie Obiano has been applauded for his socio-economic blueprints contained in his pillars and the nebulas of development, culminating in the successes recorded in security and economic infrastructures. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Local Government Liaison, Professor Ifeanyi Ike, who made this assertion, said the governor's effort has made Anambra a leading economic hub in Southeast. Professor Ike said the harmonious relationship between the executive and the legislature in Anambra State has been so cordial as majority of the House of Assembly members are of the same political ideology. He enjoined the Anambra electorate to vote APGA in the coming State Assembly election for continued stability. Professor Ike said for continued administrative convenience, the APGA-led government requires majority of the APGA candidates to be returned to the House of Assembly for effective governance synergy. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC Anambra State, has commenced the distribution of electoral materials for this Saturday's House of Assembly elections. The distribution, which took place at the premises of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Oka branch, attracted all the relevant stakeholders. Correspondent Chibuzo Okoye completes the story.
We haven't encountered any major challenge. We have received all the materials in good time. We have already batched them, like basically separate them local government by local government, as you can see.
Addressing newsmen during the exercise, the Anambra State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Nkwachukwu said that the commission has put all logistics in place to ensure that the election will be fair, credible, and hitch-free. Dr. Oji noted that the commission will equally conduct supplementary elections in Agwata and the Idemili North and South federal constituencies, where elections were inconclusive in the February 23rd National Assembly polls, and appealed to the Anambra to churn acts that can destabilize the exercise in the state.
So I want to urge them to approach the electoral process in a peaceful manner. They should eschew any form of violence. Of course, they should be vigilant. If they see people, because we learned that people came, disrupted the collation process, and all the materials that we deployed were lost. Repeating elections is not in the good interest of the INEC, and it's not in good interest of the nation, because we are just wasting resources that could have been used for other things. But since election is something that has to be done, we are obliged to repeat them where it is necessary. So we want to urge them to be vigilant and to report any suspected breach of peace to the security agencies.
The representative of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, at the distribution exercise, Honorable Ogonnobi, said that his party is ready for the election and appealed to Ndi Anambra to vote for APGA candidates during the Saturday's election for continuous development of Anambra State.
This is a state assembly election, not a national election. So I'm very much sure we're going to do better than what we did the other time around. Anambra people should vote their own, Kai. They should all come out and vote APGA.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says that they've put all logistics in place to ensure a free, fair, and credible election come Saturday, 9th March 2019 in Anambra State. It is expected that Ndi Anambra will come out en masse on Saturday, 9th March, to vote in legislators that are competent and credible that will represent their various constituencies in the Anambra State House of Assembly. In Oka, it's been Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
Governors of Southeast Zone have been urged to ensure implementation of weighing allowance for journalists in their states. The National President's Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Comrade Chris Isiguzu, made the call during his visit to Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS in Oka. Staff reporter Njide Kokoe is here with the rest of the report.
Who described journalists as the voice of the voiceless, noted that they need to be taken care of and their interests protected. The NUJ National President, after visiting ABS Film Academy, ABS Digital Radio and Television Studios, expressed happiness over the quality of equipment at the studios, which he said are of international standard, and commended Governor Willie Obiano for being committed to the welfare of the staff. Speaking at the ABS Film Academy, where he was acquainted with the programs and classes of the academy, Comrade Isiguzu advised the students not to joke with the opportunity and privilege given to them, but should take their studies serious to become somebody in life.
This is quite encouraging. It is about the only station I've visited. And when I say I've visited, that means I've visited so many of them in the country, not just in the Southeast. So this is about the only station that I've seen an academy.
Conducting him round the studios, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the ABS, Chief Uchenwara, stated that Governor Obiano has given ABS a new face, and the staff of the establishment have been attending workshops and training to upgrade their skills. Chief Nwara commended the cordial relationship between Governor Obiano and workers, which has earned him the name the alert governor, and thanked Comrade Isiguzu for the visit.
To just pay us a courtesy visit So we thought we should bring him and show him some of the things we're doing here at the academy. So you have some special people in the building this afternoon, and I have to my left the national president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Chief Chris Isiguzo. You're welcome to ABS.
Thank you very much.
The Anambra State NUJ chairman, Comrade Emma Ifesnachi, accompanied by his secretary, Comrade Emma Udaga, Director News and Current Affairs Department of the ABS, Mr. Gabe Obaleze, and Head of Commentary Unit, Dr. Emeka Rinze, were also in attendance during the visit. In Awka, Njireka Okoye, ABS News.
The Anglican Bishop of Agwata Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Ezof, has described fasting as a discipline every Christian needs for physical and spiritual advancement. Speaking on the significance of Ash Wednesday, which was celebrated in the Christendom yesterday, Bishop Ezof said, apart from making the body to be in place, fasting also enables the church to be in tune with the Spirit of God. The Anglican prelate, who maintained that fasting must have a purpose, disclosed that God is still in the business of searching for the lost, since according to him, no percentage is tiny before God. He called on Christians to use the period of Lent in building bridges of trust and true reconciliation. You are watching the news on Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS TV, coming to you live from Awka. We move now to Ikeja, where the inability of alleged kidnap kingpin Chukudumeme Onwamadike Elias Evans to pay his legal bills has stalled two trials which are before Justice Oluwatoyin Taiwo of an Ikeja Special Offences Court. Mr. Chinonye Obiagwu-san, the counsel to Evans, and Chiemeka Arinze, his co-defendant in one of the kidnap cases, had written to the court to request for an adjournment in both cases. Portions of the letter dated March 4 and signed by Mr. Noel Brown on behalf of Obiagwu was read in court by Mr. Abiodun Alagbe, the state prosecutor. After he had read portions of the letter, Alagbe noted that Evans' defense team were also absent in court during the trial on February 6. Reacting to the letter, Justice Taiwo registered her displeasure at the request for an adjournment. The judge, however, acceded to the request and granted different adjournment dates for the two suits. In the first criminal suit, Evans is facing trial alongside Victor Aduba, a dismissed member of the Nigerian Army. On business news this morning, Chinese foreign direct investment (FDI) in Europe fell 40% in 2018, hitting its lowest level in 4 years, and stricter European Union rules are likely to curb Chinese M&A activity even further, a survey showed yesterday. China has introduced capital controls and tightened investment rules for state firms in an effort to stop money moving out of the country and to stabilize its currency. At the same time, policymakers in Europe have become increasingly concerned that state-backed companies in China are gaining too much access to key technologies and sensitive infrastructure, while Beijing still shields its own economy. A survey by Germany's Mercator Institute for China Studies and the New York research firm Rodion Group showed that Chinese firms completed FDI transactions worth 17.3 billion euros in 2018. This marked a drop of more than 50% from the peak of 37 billion euros in 2016, researchers said. However, the share in total Chinese FDI slumped to 45% in 2018 from 71% in the previous year, as smaller countries such as Sweden and Luxembourg received more money. Chinese FDI declined in transport, utilities, and infrastructure. The biggest increases were recorded in financial services, health and biotech, consumer products and services, and the automotive sector, it added. And on entertainment this morning, according to new reports, some radio stations in New Zealand and Canada have dropped Michael Jackson from their playlists. This move is coming in the wake of new allegations of sexual abuse by the late pop star in the documentary Living Neverland. It will be recalled that the two-part film, which began airing on HBO on Sunday, had Wade Robson and James Safechuck accused the singer of sexually abusing them over a period of several years when they were children. In reaction to the documentary, Jackson's estate has pushed back, calling the film a public lynching, and has since slammed a lawsuit against HBO. Mixed reactions have been trailing the documentary, with fans torn as to what story to believe. While some fans are on the late entertainer's side, some others have expressed discomfort in listening to his music. It is in the wake of this that multiple radio stations have pulled Jackson's music from their airwaves in New Zealand. According to the commercial broadcaster Media Works, their decision to yank Jackson's song from its playlist is to reflect their audience preference. Rion Rat, the company's director for radio, said in a statement, rival broadcaster NSME also will not be playing the late popstar's music. Jailed former South Korean President Lee Myung-bak has been granted bail nearly a year after he was arrested over corruption charges. The CEO turned president, who served from 2018 to 2019, was found guilty on charges including bribery and embezzlement and sentenced to 15 years in prison last October. Lee appealed the decision and in January made a request for bail, citing old age and potential health complications from diabetes and sleep apnea. The Seoul High Court approved his request for bail yesterday, but said his decision was based on legal restrictions around detaining Lee during the ongoing appeals process rather than his ill health. Lee's arrest warrant expires on April 8 and raises the risk of Lee tampering with evidence during an ongoing appeals trial, the court said, adding it decided to put him under home confinement with strict conditions. Television footage showed Lee dressed in a dark suit walking out from the detention center before getting into a black sedan and driving out past a small group of aides and supporters. Lee was found guilty of creating slush funds of tens of millions of dollars and accepting bribes from Samsung Electronics in return for a presidential pardon for its chairman Lee Kun-hee, who was jailed for tax evasion. And on sports, revolution is in air at Real Madrid after the Champions League empire was razed to the ground with an outstanding 4-1 loss at home to Ajax Amsterdam on Tuesday. The changes will involve an overhaul of players as well as a change of manager. Coach Santiago Solari may have a contract until 2021, but no one expects him to remain beyond the close of the season after overseeing Tuesday's catastrophic last 16-second leg defeat. The defeat ended the capital club's reign as kings of Europe. It also effectively ended Madrid's season after successive defeats to Barcelona, which sent them out of the Copa del Rey and put them 12 points adrift of Barca in the title race. Madrid is now 5 points further adrift than when Solari succeeded Julen Lopetegui in October. Jose Mourinho is already being touted as the man best suited to lead the transformation of a squad that has won it all but turned stale. The former Manchester United boss won a La Liga title with 100 points but left a legacy of division in his 3 years at Madrid. The Portuguese is out of work after being sacked by Manchester United in December. And that is the news this morning. But before we go, remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us at www.facebook.com/ABSRadioTelevision. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. The main points again. Anambra State government has continued to receive commendations on sustaining good governance. INEC has commenced distribution of electoral materials ahead of March 9 elections. Popular kidnap suspect Ivan's trial has been stalled over legal fees. Jailed former South Korean President Myung-bak has been released from prison. And that is the news this morning. On behalf of the whole team here, I want to thank you for listening, and I am David Okwasile. Stay with us as Good Morning Anambra continues right after now.